Okay, hello and welcome back. As you can see, we're progressing with the wings on our Aeronaut Thermic Glider. This is the thermic here, long wings with the electric brushless motor. Okay, we are deep, well not really deep, but we're into assembling the wing sheet here. So last time we left, we had put this former in here and then the top rib here. So now, as you can see, we are going to glue all the ribs in, but I'm just going to take this out for now. So this step was, we started off with a bare sheet, we glued in the former, which is this one here, and now we've set up our what we call our template. And our template consists of the sheet, lower sheet wing. This sheet here will become the aileron. So as you see, we've just got our pins in here and here, just to separate the aileron from the rest of the wing. Now we did cheat a little bit here, and we wanted to make sure that we were square with all the ribs. So what we did is we actually pinned down the sheet here and these three sheets at the bottom here, and put the ribs in. So the ribs, you can see, have a little slot here, and if you grab a rib here, put him in the slot here, and he sits in there. So we did manipulate the bottom of the sheeting to line up all the ribs, and then we checked, as you can see for this one, to make sure that they were all 90 degrees to the leading edge, which is they are all nice and straight. So now we come to gluing all these in. So I'm going to try something a little bit different here, because in the book it just says to glue these in, but we did actually glue in the first little two pieces here and here, which becomes our aileron. So what I might do, this is the mount for the servo, so that one has to go in. So I'm using that as a template for this one, so we can make sure that he is in there nice and square and he is free to move. So on this step, it doesn't have us gluing the leading edge, so all the gluing will be from the middle of this spar backwards from the ribs onto these sheets here. So it's a bit of a smaller kind of step, but it actually looks quite well. And I did disassemble and assemble this quite a few times off camera, just to make sure I get them square. So even though I'm going to be gluing them, we will check with our square here to make sure they are vertically straight in relation to the building board here. So what I think I might do, we might actually start in the center here and work outwards. On the first glue, I think we'll go every second spar and then come back to the center again and then glue every first one from here. So with any luck, we'll see how this goes. But as you can see, this is why I chose this model. Being a beginner builder, I wanted the most chance of making a semi-straight wing. So we've pinned down our board, we've pinned down our template, we've pinned down our sheeting, we've checked and double checked to make sure the ribs were 90 degrees parallel with this main spar. Now all we're going to do is to make sure that each rib is vertical to the horizontal plane here. So here we go. So yeah, we went out to do our flying today, but the wind was a little bit too up, so I'm a bit upset about that, because we were hoping to go for our wings today. So that was our first flight off what they call the buddy system. Oops, that's a bit too much glue there. So it was quite, so sort of like miffed in a way that we didn't actually get a chance to fly, but at the same time we want to make sure that we've got our best chance possible. Oh geez, too much glue again. Yeah, I'm using thin CA here, and I think I should use the thick CA, because the old thin CA is so thin. It seems to be running everywhere before I get a chance to get us in. So again, all we're doing is a slight glue. That's a little bit better, but still we keep gluing. Yeah, I think I might swap over. We'll swap over to the thick CA. This thin CA is making it a bit hard. Oh, and the glue's gone hard through all the looks of it. Also, as we get down here, it looks like we've make sure these are all lined up. Make sure these are square. So if you've been keeping an eye on our videos, we thank you very much for tuning in. And if you're a first time viewer and you've got some opinions on how we're doing, obviously we started this channel just because we're a pure novice, wanting to learn a bit more about just more than building a ARF kit. So we decided, pin this in. So we decided to build our own, and obviously realise it's a bit of a daunting prospect, as we have so much invested in these things, especially time-wise and monetary value too, but more time-wise than ever, more time-wise than anything. And then I suppose we go back up. Oops, sorry, camera. I think I'm starting to block the view a bit. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a small, like a bit of a small glue, like more of a tack, I guess, and then wait till that dries, and then we'll go for a bit more of a fuller glue a little bit later on. Because I've already lost count of where I am with the gluing already. So I think these seem to be pretty true. I think I got quite lucky there. This is the reason we chose this model, is because of this whole template setup to make sure you get the wings straight. Obviously a lot of more progressive models, these guys have Aeronaut have just made this a bit nicer to build. So we're quite impressed with this kit, especially because this is the first aircraft we've built. So everything seems to be quite square here. And like I said, in this step, it has us not gluing the front, the leading edge. So obviously you can see the steps that we've taken. So we've come from our two bits of balsa, well, balsa sheeting and plywood strips. Then we put them into the template along with our trailing edge with our ailerons in the middle there. Now we've just assembled and putting the ribs in, and I think the last step of today we might actually even put the spar capping down the middle as well. We'll see how we go for time. Alright, so let's just continue on with the gluing. These are the ones to worry about is when we get to the end here, the smaller ribs. We just want to make sure that they are actually in. So I think I still should have used the thin CA, but it really does like to stick to my sheeting underneath. As you can see, if you can see underneath, we have got basically a baking tray liner. Or wax paper if you want to call it that. And that is the thick CA doesn't seem to stick to it as much as the thin CA. The thin CA glue really sticks to it. So I had trouble getting some of the parts out earlier. Now this last little one is going to be a bit of a pain because he is. I don't think I'm going to have to go around. Yeah, it's around the camera there, so that one's going to have to be glued in later off camera. Alright, so that's probably every second spar done. So we're going to go back into the middle. And I've also, like I said, I've cheated a little bit and I've put a hatch in for this is where our servo is going to be mounting. So I decided that just in case when we glue it, we don't get it quite lined up and make it too tight. So I want to still make sure that we can freely move our servo tray, servo lid for the ailerons. Too much glue again. So again, this is more of a tack than anything. Then later on we'll come revisit the gluing, make sure everything is fully glued down. We just want to get these into shape at the moment. We've got my baby sitting our mother's cockatiel at the moment, so you can hear scratching in the background. It's him having a go at my leftover cardboard. He seems to like, as you can see, he seems to like chewing stuff, so at the moment he's having a good old go at all my cardboard and chucking it on the floor. so that's those three done. That's that one done. We might actually pin that one down too. So okay, so as I've stated before, if you guys see something that I should be doing better, give us a holler. As we keep stating, we are full novice at this, so any tips in helping us build a better product will be greatly appreciated. And also, if you're doing any projects that you'd like us to know about, well, we're always keen to see what people are working on. Drop us a line. We'd like to see what you're up to. Okay, so keep on gluing these. I'm just going to, you might put a few more pins in here, and we'll start now that we've got the front. Most of these ribs put in. So as I said before, I'm pretty wrapped with this kit. I've really enjoyed building it so far. I'll let you go in there too. And I hope that we end up doing a good job. And I guess we won't see till we actually throw it up in the air. But I think you can come along with me when we do fly it, and we'll actually, that's the only way to see if you've done a good build, is whether it actually flies or not. So I have run into some issues with the fitment of the electric motor, but I'll put that in another video. Obviously there's two ways these brushless motors are, either a front or a rear mount. I've happened to end up with a rear mounted motor, which means that actually I'm just going to go off just outside the camera view, around the back of the camera. I just want to glue this one in, so it might be a little bit noisy as I cruise around the back. Just to make sure we get this one straight. There we go. Okay, and we'll just pin this one in. So I'm not sure if it's, and if you want to comment on our videos, obviously, oops, sorry camera, about how we view them. Obviously today I've actually set up a second camera that is looking from the other side. So we'll have to see how that one goes. Okay, so that's most of these all glued in. So now I'm just going to go down and just put a dot of glue on every side now. And like I said, this is more of a tack than a full glue. So we'll revisit the gluing once these little tacks have dried in, and we'll give it a full glue. Just want to make sure that we've got everything lined up and straight. Let's just bring you back out the way. So obviously this is a thick CA, so this is going to take some time to dry. So I think once we finish gluing this, I think we'll have to pretty much call it quits. until, so I don't want to put the top rail on really until this glue has dried. I was going to use a thin CA, and then we could probably put the top on, but because of using the thick glue, then we're going to have to wait, which is not too much of a deal. All right, okay, that's that one glue, that one glue, that one glue. Put a little tack on here. A bit worried about this side because I don't want to glue my aileron together. So we're just going to tack all these. Then we can actually remove the pins once the glue's dried, and then we will fully glue all the way to the edge there. So again, we had a little bit of a cheat, and we were a bit worried about whether we were going to cut the aileron out. So in the book it says here, these little pieces here, 23 and 25, are these double ups, one here and on this other camera on here. Now that defines the end of the aileron, or start and finish of the aileron. So obviously the gap between this side of this side of the wing and this side of the wing has to be nice and square as well. So all we did was just put a couple of pins in just to separate, to make sure we don't get glue there, because later on we will have to, once we've put the bracing across the aileron here, we have to cut the aileron out. So we don't want to end up gluing this small rib to the side of this rib and then not be able to remove it later on. So only by reading the instructions, because obviously you can see here this is the manual, and the manual is all in German, but I did download a English manual, and we're just using this manual here for reference. So we normally read the instructions a couple of times, which I learnt from there's a channel I've been watching, RC Plane Tech, and has that got a glue on there? And he's pretty thorough with his instructions, so learnt a little bit from him. And then I've been watching I can't remember what it was, Mark Richardson has got a series on a Great Plains 60 size trainer, and obviously they are a lot bigger than this, but his video on building his wings was quite informative too. So I learned a bit about the squareness and trueness of wings from watching his videos. So it's always good to do a bit of looking, because obviously we don't get much of a chance. Once we've glued and put this together, then that's pretty much it. So we do like to be able to have a quick look at other people and see what kind of techniques they use to put these things together. We need to hang on. We need another pin in this. Did I pin that one? Oh yeah, he's pinned too. All right. Well, we could probably. Oh no, I think I'm going to leave that top rail off for now. We'll leave that top rail off for now, and we'll leave that to cure. Alright, so this isn't a full video. We've sort of like compiled, so I think this is 3 different steps in one video. So we started out with our trailing edge sheeting, then this beam underneath, where the spar rests on top of to give us a height, and then we've just slipped our ribs in and put the sheeting for the underneath. So this is the trailing edge of the wing, here and here. This will be cut out once we brace across here. So if you can see well, I'll run you through the instructions here. So once we've glued up to what we call number, these are frightened there, it look like an 8, up to 9, we'll let this all dry and re-glue it, and then we start on, this is where we get our dihedral for the wing, which is haven't quite worked out how, it only says 1 degree of dihedral, so this last brace has to lean out towards the middle part of the wing here by 1 degree. So I'm going to have to try and figure out how I can get a 1 degree. So that'll be interesting. And obviously you can see the next step here is we put in this long brace. Once we've got our dihedral, there's one more piece that goes in here, which is this bit here. This slips into TT09 here at the end here. And that, I was hoping that would give us our dihedral for the wing, but it looks pretty straight from what I can see there, so that's not going to give us our dihedral, which is I'm a bit annoyed about. Okay, so obviously once we've put in this brace, then we actually start on our bracing all through the middle here. Oh, sorry. All through the middle here is the bracing for our ailerons, and also our, which is nice, our servo mount. Well, not our servo mount, but our servo actually sits on this tray here, and then all the bracing through here. So we will continue on. I'll let this cure, which feels like it's actually drying pretty quick. Oh, that one's not. Well, that one hasn't quite. Oh, that one is quite proud there. I'm going to be a bit worried about that. That one's straight. Yes, this is a. That's a little proud. All right. So once this is dried, we'll come back and we will, I think, continue on some extra glue, which I'll do off camera because it's obviously a bit boring. Because I've done most of the assembly off camera with this one, so it's probably a bit boring, more of just a gluing phase. But it's so hard to takes quite a lot of time just to set these up, and obviously that I feel that might be a bit monotonous to watch as I use the squares and rulers and my adjustable square or set square to make sure everything is lined up. So thank you very much for watching. Please stop by again if you like. If you don't like, well, I can't help that much. So enjoy the rest of your day and happy flying.